Leave the people from your past behind. They didn't walk into your future because they were never meant to. Look carefully at the company you keep. If the ones around you do not lift you up, you're not surrounded by a supportive circle. You're trapped in a cage disguised as friendship. Healing will never happen if you stay in the same place that poisoned you. Be mindful of those you build with, because some will gladly let you lay the foundation and then complete the house with someone else. Don't cling to toxic friendships just for the sake of shared history. Loyalty should never become a prison. No matter how many times you stumble, never surrender. You might be just one step away from the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Progress doesn't come only on the good days. True discipline is working even when you feel tired, broken, or uninspired. Honesty won't make you popular, but it will attract the kind of souls who truly belong in your life. More important than choosing the right people is finding the courage to walk away from the wrong ones. Every moment wasted on something that isn't for you delays the arrival of what was meant for you. Stop chasing perfection. Perfection is an illusion that holds you back from genuine growth. Remember, life is like a busy highway. People will change lanes on you without warning. So protect your journey and stay alert. Never settle for who you are now at the expense of who you could become tomorrow. Pay attention to how people treat you when they cannot get their way. That's when their true nature shows. Guard your energy. Stop giving endless access to those who only show up when it suits them. Your habits quietly shape the person you are becoming. Choose them with wisdom, for they determine your destiny. Never apologize for being authentic, for feeling deeply, or for speaking your truth. To do so would be to apologize for being real, and above all, respect the one body you have. Nurture it, strengthen it, and treat it with care, because once it's gone, nothing else will matter. You will live in your body for your entire lifetime. It is strong, adaptable, and capable of amazing things, yet it will always reflect what you feed it, physically, mentally, and emotionally. If you want your life to take a new direction, you must begin by shifting your priorities and choices. Treat others the way you wish to be treated yourself. It sounds simple, but it shapes every relationship you'll ever have. Life unfolds in stages. Time determines the people you cross paths with. Your heart chooses those you wish to keep, but in the end, your actions and behavior decide who remains by your side. You are the sum of your daily habits, not your intentions. Don't waste your energy trying to mold others into who you think they should be. Instead, focus on changing yourself. Or if necessary, step into a healthier environment. Sometimes both are needed. A common mistake is believing everyone thinks and feels the way you do. They don't, and expecting them to will only lead to disappointment. You can spend your life building walls and boundaries, or you can choose to live boldly, crossing them with courage. The pain that hurt you was never your choice, but the responsibility to heal belongs only to you. Don't sacrifice your own peace by trying to make everyone else happy. Learn the strength of being content in solitude. If your happiness depends on constant company, then it becomes fragile and easily broken. Missing someone is natural, but longing for them doesn't mean they belong back in your life. Sometimes missing is just a step toward letting go. When you make mistakes, acknowledge them. Never hide them, especially not from yourself, because mistakes, when embraced, carry the seeds of wisdom. Growth rarely comes without discomfort. It stretches you, challenges you, and often hurts before it heals. The future is shaped not tomorrow, but today. Prepare now, because waiting only leaves you behind. Staying true to who you really are may feel isolating at times, yet that authenticity will always be worth more than shallow approval. Running away from problems won't erase them. Only by facing them head-on will you become stronger. Protect your time fiercely. If someone has already wasted it once, don't give them the chance to do it again. And always remember, there are very few things more valuable than the time and energy you still have to live. Our time is the most precious gift we have, and the people we share it with define its true meaning. Do not hold on too tightly to anyone, not even those dearest to your heart. Every person can become both a shelter and a cage, a comfort, yet also a confinement. Focus on your inner nature rather than the image others perceive. Your character is the truth of who you are, while your reputation is only the reflection in someone else's mirror. Learn from nature. Just as a tree lets its dry leaves fall away, you too must release what no longer serves you. If you cannot find peace within yourself, you will never find it in another person. Do not fear walking alone. Waiting endlessly for others to join you may cause you to miss opportunities that were meant for you. Often those who take the most from you are the very ones who give the least in return. Be humble enough to ask for guidance, yet wise enough to know whose wisdom is worth following. We seldom understand the true weight of a moment until it has slipped into memory. If a day passes without challenges, it may be a sign you are avoiding the path of growth. When you feel like you're clinging to life by a thread, release your grip. Anything that leaves you in constant pain is not worth holding on to. No amount of effort can force someone to value your love if they already fail to see its worth. Never place all your happiness in the hands of a single person. If they leave, your joy should not vanish with them. You cannot be everything, everywhere, all at once. Choose carefully, commit to what truly matters, and learn to let go of the rest. Closing certain doors is not always a loss. Sometimes it is the beginning of your freedom. Sometimes doors must be closed, not out of pride, weakness, or stubbornness, but simply because they lead to empty destinations. One of the greatest gifts you can offer yourself is freedom from the weight of other people's opinions. You were born with 2 ears and only 1 mouth. That alone is a reminder to listen more and speak less. Clarity comes from action, not from endless thinking. You cannot sit and overanalyze your way into a new life. It is through movement, decisions, and courage that transformation truly happens. Life will not soften for you. If resilience hasn't been built yet, the journey ahead will only feel heavier. Do not rush to judge anyone. What you see on the surface is rarely the full story. What you assume is often far from the truth. You don't owe the world explanations for every step you take. Stop justifying your choices to those who will never understand your vision. True change happens when you challenge the patterns you've grown comfortable with. Real growth begins the moment you stop pointing fingers and instead start holding yourself accountable. That is how you reclaim your power, by taking responsibility. Going back to someone you left behind is like showering only to wear dirty clothes again. The past must be left where it belongs, behind you. Tell yourself firmly, what's gone is gone, and it will not return. Nothing in life is irreplaceable. Even habits you feel attached to are not true needs. Create new ones that serve your highest self. Each day is an opportunity. Do something now that your future self will look back on with gratitude. If you don't design your own roadmap, you will become a character in someone else's plan. And often their vision for you will be far smaller than your potential. Happiness is not something you chase. The pursuit only exhausts you. Happiness is a path, a way of walking through life, not a trophy to be won at the end. Take yourself too seriously, and you'll miss the joy that life has to offer. Learn to laugh at yourself. Humility lightens the soul, and never despise those who envy you. Their jealousy is simply a reflection of how they see you. They believe you are ahead of them, and that belief alone means you are doing something right. Never waste energy complaining about what is already in your control. If you can remove it, then do so. Otherwise, you are choosing to stay bound. The moment you point fingers at someone else for your struggles, you hand them power over your life. Later is often just another word for never. Do not postpone what matters. Stop chasing sympathy. The people who truly love you won't need to be convinced. They will be present when you call, not because you prove your loyalty, but because they value you. Sometimes forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation. Letting go silently, without confrontation, and moving forward without their presence is one of the deepest acts of self-care. Never make life-changing choices while drowning in temporary emotions. Storms pass, but the decisions made during them may trap you forever. Keep your distance from narcissists. They do not honor rules, fairness, or reciprocity. Their slow erosion of your peace is like poison drip by drip. Whatever life places before you, meet it with acceptance, as though you had chosen it. Work with the moment instead of resisting it. When you treat the present as an ally instead of an enemy, your entire outlook transforms in ways that feel miraculous. You cannot force someone to love you as deeply as you love them. Affection can never be demanded. It must flow freely. Look back only with gratitude, not to cling to the past, but to measure how far you've already traveled. Discipline begins with honoring your own promises. Keep your word to yourself, reward your progress, and you will learn to trust and inspire your own spirit. Great builders work quietly. When you create in silence, you leave no weak points for others to strike. Treat yourself with the same compassion and care that you would extend to someone you are sworn to protect. Clocks may reveal the hours, but time itself reveals the true nature of people. Acknowledging that you are not yet where you want to be is the first courageous step toward genuine transformation. Growth requires stretching beyond comfort. If you remain only with what you've already mastered, you will never evolve into who you could be. Watch people's actions more than their words. Deeds speak a truth the tongue often tries to hide. Life takes on depth and meaning when you learn to notice the small, precise details that most overlook. For in them lies the beauty and wisdom of existence. The weight and meaning of your life often expand in direct proportion to the responsibility you are brave enough to carry. If you refuse to heal the wounds of your past, you will end up bleeding on people who never deserved the pain you carry. Remember this: no matter how much kindness you give, many will overlook it and remember only your failures. Don't expect people to always do what is fair or moral. Most make choices out of self-interest, not out of principle. Do not give up. Often the very thing you've been praying, wishing, or working for arrives when you least expect it. You cannot force change upon someone who refuses to acknowledge that their behavior is harmful. Failure is not your enemy. It simply clears the wrong paths, pointing you toward the direction that works. Stop placing others on a pedestal while shrinking your own worth. Never underestimate your own ability. Pain will come knocking at your door. Let it enter. Let it speak, but do not allow it to unpack its bags and stay forever. Contempt is a silent warning. When someone constantly belittles you, treats you as though you are beneath them, sooner or later they will harm you, emotionally, socially, or even physically. Protect yourself by removing them from your circle. Many times in life you will have to face pain alone. Maturity often comes through swallowing the hurt and learning how to grow from it without anyone holding your hand. Commitment is the spark that ignites your journey. Consistency builds the road beneath your feet. Persistence pushes you through when everything tells you to stop. Sacrifice today is the down payment for tomorrow's rewards. Pain itself is not punishment. It is a signal, a message telling you what must be repaired or rebuilt in your life. At times you must take risks, step beyond the comfort zone, and walk into uncertainty. Yes, it is frightening, but the only way to know what could have been is to be bold enough to try. Suffering is sometimes part of the human journey. Not because you are evil or undeserving, but because struggle is often the soil where wisdom and resilience grow. Sometimes the deepest suffering comes not from being kind, but from refusing to stop giving to the wrong people. If you walk through life believing you are always right, then life has nothing left to teach you. The question is never, who will give you permission? The real question is, who has the strength to stop you? You cannot see the beauty that lies ahead if your eyes are glued to the pain that lingers behind you. Stop asking why someone continues to mistreat you, and start asking yourself why you keep granting them access. Be wise with your trust. Salt and sugar may look alike, yet one will nourish you while the other can make you sick. Don't blame the fool for acting foolish. Blame yourself if you keep buying tickets to the circus. Never absorb criticism from people whose advice you would never even consider taking. Courage is the fastest path to confidence. The moment you do what terrifies you most, your fear begins to lose its power. Do not hold space for people who fail to value you. Love and respect should be mutual, not one-sided. Boundaries are not barriers. They don't drive away true friends. They simply filter out those who only pretended to be. The past is not a prison, it is a classroom. Use it to learn the lessons you'll need to navigate the challenges of today. Be careful where you share your struggles. If someone is incapable of helping you, all you've done is hand them your vulnerability. Freedom is real, but it carries weight. You may choose your actions, but you can never escape the consequences they bring. Avoiding failure means you are also closing the door on success. They are two sides of the same coin. Transformation is never easy. In the beginning, it feels impossible. In the middle, it looks chaotic. But in the end, it reveals something extraordinary. You are defined not by your promises or your plans, but by the actions you actually take. When someone says you cannot do something, they are only speaking from the limits of their own belief, not from the reality of your potential. 2 reminders for life. Guard your thoughts when you are alone, and guard your words when you are with others. Be cautious of those who surround you physically, yet never truly stand with you in spirit. Life is generous with second chances. Every mistake you make is an invitation to rise, to choose differently, to prove to yourself that growth is possible. The moment your only goal is to outshine another person, you have already stepped away from the path of your true potential. Progress does not need applause. It is still progress even if no one notices but you. Do not just pass through existence. Allow life to transform you and let each stage shape who you are becoming. We don't walk away to punish others. We walk away because our hearts finally understand the lesson that staying would only hurt us more. Stop offering kindness to those who cannot even acknowledge your presence. There are always two paths to success. The first is doing things properly, and the second is having the courage to do them again until you succeed. When fear, anger, or pride guides your actions, life turns into a battlefield of endless competition. But when peace, awareness, and courage become your compass, life itself flows to support you. If you keep questioning whether something is worth it, perhaps the answer has already revealed itself. Wisdom in life is a threefold journey: to grow old enough to recognize your mistakes, to grow wise enough to learn from them, and to grow strong enough to correct them. Train your heart to bear disappointments, even when they come from the hands you trusted the most. Maturity is when you finally grasp that silence carries more weight than endless arguments. Someday is an illusion. It is a day that never arrives, yet many live their entire lives waiting for it. A man who stands for nothing becomes a prisoner of everything. Every problem, once conquered, appears simple, though it never feels that way in the beginning. Remember, you can never control how loyal another person chooses to be. You may give your best and still not receive the treatment you deserve. Be cautious of those who surround you physically, yet never truly stand with you in spirit. Life is generous with second chances. Every mistake you make is an invitation to rise, to choose differently, to prove to yourself that growth is possible. The moment your only goal is to outshine another person, you have already stepped away from the path of your true potential. Progress does not need applause. It is still progress, even if no one notices but you. Do not just pass through existence. Allow life to transform you and let each stage shape who you are becoming. We don't walk away to punish others. We walk away because our hearts finally understand the lesson that staying would only hurt us more. Stop offering kindness to those who cannot even acknowledge your presence. There are always two paths to success. The first is doing things properly, and the second is having the courage to do them again until you succeed. When fear, anger, or pride guides your actions, life turns into a battlefield of endless competition. But when peace, awareness, and courage become your compass, life itself flows to support you. If you keep questioning whether something is worth it, perhaps the answer has already revealed itself. Wisdom in life is a threefold journey: to grow old enough to recognize your mistakes, to grow wise enough to learn from them, and to grow strong enough to correct them. Train your heart to bear disappointments, even when they come from the hands you trusted the most. Maturity is when you finally grasp that silence carries more weight than endless arguments. Someday is an illusion. It is a day that never arrives, yet many live their entire lives waiting for it. A man who stands for nothing becomes a prisoner of everything. Every problem, once conquered, appears simple, though it never feels that way in the beginning. Remember, you can never control how loyal another person chooses to be. You may give your best and still not receive the treatment you deserve. Passion fuels our path, but life will not let us move forward until its lessons are fully absorbed. The waves of trouble may rock your boat, yet that does not mean you should abandon the journey. Speak with intention. Say only what you are willing to be remembered for. Act with integrity. Do the work you would be proud to have. Carry your name. Sometimes the exact choice matters, less than having the courage to decide and the discipline to follow through. Do not let the voices of the crowd drown the quiet guidance of your own soul. True. Thinking requires effort, and because of that, many choose the easier road of judgment. Live in the truth of the present moment, not in illusions of what you wish it to be. Never do anything that forces you to hide behind lies afterward. You only begin to see someone's real nature when daily life intertwines with theirs. Do not bind yourself for a lifetime to someone you have never truly lived with. Every life eventually reaches a turning point where the past must be released so that a new future can be created. The real tragedy is not losing the past, but refusing to let go once it is gone. A heart that breaks is not a heart that fails. It is simply stretching so that when genuine love arrives, you can hold it more fully. A promise made is a seed of hope. A promise kept is the foundation of trust. When others treat you cruelly, it reveals more about their wounds than about your worth. Listen not to respond quickly, but to truly understand deeply. Become the person today that your younger self once needed. Remember, the answer will always be no until you find the courage to ask. Do not decide in the heat of anger, nor promise in the rush of joy. Today is the tomorrow that yesterday was waiting for. No matter how kind or genuine you are, in someone else's story, you will still play the villain. Some people speak with you only when it suits their schedule. Others carve out space in their lives because you matter to them. Learn the difference. One is convenience, the other is care. If you do not learn to push past the habit of quitting, your life will remain half-finished stories and abandoned beginnings. Guard your privacy like treasure. What remains unseen cannot be damaged. Do not waste today fantasizing about the life you might have had elsewhere. Pour your strength into the opportunities that exist here, now, within your reach. The world does not owe you fairness or comfort. It is far too vast and busy to center itself around you. Your path will not be understood by everyone. Many will doubt your vision because it does not match their own. That is why it is called your journey. It was never meant for them to walk. The strongest souls are often the quietest ones. Those who carry invisible battles, smile through unseen wounds, and shed tears only when the doors are closed. Perhaps your road feels heavier because the purpose waiting at its end is higher. And always remember, if things are not yet good, then the story has not yet reached its ending.